Hi, friends, and welcome back to this episode. I just came back from my walk with Cage, and I just fed him as well. So if you hear him eating and then drinking water, that's what that is. That's what's going on. Also, hopefully you don't, because I got a mic. Guys. Hopefully you can hear the difference. There's like modes to this thing, and surprisingly, it confused me a little. So I don't know if like the noise reduction is on, but hopefully the audio is more crisp. I don't have to hold the phone to my mouth space. And yeah, so that's what we're working with now. Hopefully it sounds good. And yeah, let's get into it. So this episode is going to be an important one because we're going to be talking about you. Now, don't get uncomfy. Don't get nervous. It's okay. We're going to create a nice space for ourselves because not only is this space for me, but it's also going to be for you. So get comfortable, get cozy, get yourself a drink, maybe like an ice cold drink or some hot tea, whatever you feel like you need right now. Maybe get yourself a snack. Sometimes what I like to do when I when I listen to something, I like to put my headphones on and I like to clean my space. So do whatever you feel like you need to do right now. Light a candle, anything. Or literally just don't do anything. Maybe just, sometimes I also like to listen to something and I'll just be on my phone and like I'll play Subway Surfers. Like you know those TikTok videos that are like, it's split screen and there's like, I don't know if I've said this before, but it's like, no, I think I've just told a friend this. But anyways, those TikTok videos where it's like split screen and there's like the actual video and then on the bottom half it's Subway Surfers. That is literally me. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I do that. So whatever you need right now, whatever you feel like doing or feel like don't doing. We're just going to create a space for ourselves because I'm going to be talking about you. And yeah, so yep, let's get into it. So I wanted to record this earlier actually on my lunch break, but I wasn't even prepared for it. And it just wasn't, because I wasn't prepared for it, like it wasn't going the direction I wanted it to go. So just stop doing that. And I didn't think I was going to get a chance to record today, but I do have one. So I'm jumping at the opportunity. Now, let's see. What we're generally going to be speaking about today is worth, and alignment and trust. I want to talk about this because I noticed that I've already known that I'm very reassuring to myself. I really have my back. I have been doing this long enough to the point where I know how to reassure myself. I know how to calm myself down. I know how to just be the shoulder that I need. So, with that being said, I feel like my brain can be very nice. Like, I have a kind brain. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been times where my brain has not been nice to me. And I feel like a lot of people's brains can be pretty mean to them, where there's situations where my insecurities have gotten the best of me, my fear and anxiety has taken over and blocked me. There has been times where I have told myself that I'm not deserving of things and that maybe I'm not. There's been times where I've told myself that I have been alone for so long that maybe and not like not physically alone, but maybe I have felt lonely so many times, and I have been by myself and have felt so comfortable with myself, and I've spent so much time isolated, and there have been times where I thought, okay, maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. Maybe that is what's meant for me. Maybe I am not meant to share my space with someone else romantically. It came up in the situation that it came up, and it was I was thinking that in a romantic sense. There have been times where I have told myself those things, but I need to say that I feel like I can share the kindness that I tell myself and reassure myself to you, because there's, like I said, there's a lot of brains out there. I tend to separate myself from my brain. Like, I see it as, although it's like something that is part of me and like we're the same, and my brain is kind of in charge right now, like with my speaking and my hand movements. Like, I move my hands when I talk, and the brain is really just, she's in the front fucking driver's seat. For some reason, I tend to separate it. So, if you're wondering why I'm talking about my brain in like what, third person, that is why. But yeah, I'm here to spread some kindness because I feel like sometimes we need it. So, Worth, we're going to get straight to the point, and I'm going to tell you that you are worthy of the things that you desire. You are worthy of good things. You are deserving of good things. And I feel like sometimes we forget that, or we feel like we're not used to it because of maybe we've lacked certain experiences or certain attention or affection or just straight up love, or maybe there has been, or just something that you have forgotten. But you are so worthy of love. You are so worthy of respect. You are worthy of space. You are worthy of giving yourself the space to talk and giving your body physical space. And you are worthy of your desires, and you're worthy of your dreams, and you're deserving of the things that you want truly. Like, when I say that, please know that I do not know you, but I truly, truly mean that. Everyone has the opportunity to receive blessings and receive luck and receive just these little like bundles of luck and opportunities that you may see other people get. You are also deserving and worthy of the same thing. No matter what has been shown to you in the past, just know that you have love within you, and you're able to give and receive it. And purely just because of that, you are inherently worthy, where you are deserving of good things, and that is your birthright. I need you to tell yourself that, because I believe it truly. Like, maybe the concept of it can be a little foreign, but I feel like I am in a place right now where I can confidently say that I am deserving of good things. And I want you to tell yourself that, because if you tell it to yourself enough, it kind of is just ingrained in your brain, and it will get to the point where it'll just be your default foundation of what you believe. And I feel like that is so important. And even if it's, like I said, a foreign idea, there's this like little, you can affirm to yourself and be like, and you can affirm to yourself that you are deserving of good things, but sometimes we just don't believe it right away. And one time I was watching this tarot reader, her name is Chloe Taylor on YouTube, and she was saying that if you don't believe it right away, and if it feels fake, like you're faking it, you want to truly believe these things. So if it feels fake in the moment, you can always rearrange your words and say, I am in the transition of beginning to believe that I am deserving of good things. I am transitioning into believing that I am worthy of good things. I am deserving of good things. The things I desire me as well. The things you desire you as well. You are love, and because you are love, you are worthy. So just please, 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 I want you to know that. Even though I do not know you, I am telling you that you are worthy. And I will say it over and over again. I know I said it a lot. I know I've repeated myself. But if there's any time where I'm allowed to repeat myself, it's with saying those things. Because the more you hear it, the more you'll yourself have processed it. Me personally, it takes me more than once to process things. So I'm going to hand it to you, and I'm going to trust that you will affirm to yourself and repeat that you are worthy, and tell it to yourself in the mirror. Tell it to yourself when something good happens to you. Tell it to yourself when you feel joyful, but also tell it to yourself when maybe you feel like you've missed an opportunity. Now remember, like no opportunity that is meant for you is going to go missed. But maybe you feel like what's the thing they say? Rejection is just redirection, or rejection is I think it's rejection is just redirection, or something like that. Basically, like if it didn't go well, if something was rejected in your life, it's just because that just wasn't best for you, and you'll have a better opportunity later on. But tell it to yourself, and this is the part that matters the most. Tell it to yourself when things don't always go your way. I am deserving of good things. You are deserving of good things. Because when you tell it to yourself when things don't go your way, it's like you do believe that you're worthy of good things, because yes, something may not have gone your way, but you know that something better will come along. You know that there's no lack of abundance. That just because you missed one opportunity, that doesn't mean that's all you get. So, yeah. Now, what I'm going to talk about may be a bit specific, but I want to create this space where I acknowledge this kind of feeling. And it's this inner knowing. I want everyone to acknowledge that they all have an inner knowing. And it's usually your intuition. But for some people, there is an inner knowing that they have about themselves. And if you have this, just know that it is valid. It is so 100% completely valid. If you feel that you are just unique and that you bring something special to the table, that you have these unique skills and this personality that you feel that you're meant to do something with, that you're meant to be something, that you're meant to have some sort of position. If you have an inner knowing, a strong inclination about yourself, it is 100% valid, and it is amazing and beautiful that you have that, because you have a connection with yourself and an honor that you need to follow. And it's just something that you should honor, because listening to that and knowing that feeling, it will always guide you into the right direction, because you know your worth. You know you're meant for something greater. And I think that is beautiful. I think that is so important. And I just want to validate that for you, because trust me, I have a very special inner knowing within myself that I feel that I am deserving of good things. I am meant for more than what has been given to me. And if you have that inner knowing, and if you discover it, you want to make sure that you honor it, because when you honor it, you're projecting it and it's radiating from you. And just from doing that alone, you're attracting. That's how it works. That's how it works, guys. I promise you, like, that is how it works. If you want to know what my little hack is for feeling so reassuring, being so reassuring to myself, feeling so content, and I'm able to feel peace and stillness, it's because I've worked with myself and I've discovered that the special qualities that I hold, I've grown to understand my uniqueness. I know that I am.
Guys, so it's a completely different day. I was editing the second half of this episode, and I was thinking, well, during the first half of it, I was like, wow, like, this audio sounds so good. Like, it's a bit, like, choppy because with this mic, it, like, completely silences the silence. Like, it, like, strips the white noise when when it's in a certain setting. And then I switched that off during the second half, and I also switched locations, and then some of my family came home, so you hear them in the background, and the audio just took a turn and right into shit. It just became really shitty. And yeah, so I am trying to re-record it now. So this is what's going on. I said so much, and I know I'm not gonna completely say everything that I said in that recording, but I'm going to try and get the key points. So I know I left off with basically saying that I learned to know my worth, my energetic worth, what I bring to the table, my skills, and just learn myself energetically, I guess. And from doing that, it has completely... I've always felt really connected with nature, I'd say, which sounds very like woo-woo, but I really do have a strong appreciation for specifically my eyesight, which sounds very funny, but I love being able to just view life with my eyes. I think it is so beautiful, and it really is something that I appreciate, probably like the number one thing I appreciate. So, moving on, how I got here. But when I started to connect with myself, it took things to a whole other level of really feeling content with where I was walking and what I was viewing, and just kind of like this oneness, I guess, like a very subtle, mild oneness that you like hear people talk about. And I'm not saying I'm fucking enlightened. Okay, wait. I need to state this. I am not saying I'm enlightened. Okay, guys, like, I feel like I'm far from. But there are elements I feel like I've subtly experienced, like having a quick feeling of oneness and just this immense appreciation for the life around me. So, yeah, I feel like when I connected with myself, it just took things to a whole nother level. But I said so much already about inner knowing that I haven't even gotten to, or like that I hadn't even gotten to talking about alignment. And alignment, I feel like once you start to try to learn yourself and realize, okay, what you bring to the table and what is valuable about yourself, or what you specifically value about yourself, because you are a valuable person. But I feel like once you start to get into those kinds of topics, it may like catapult you to start thinking, okay, is this what I want to do? You may start to feel like where you are at right now and what you're surrounded by, whether it be like your specific environment or like the people, like your physical environment, or the people around you, or your job, or maybe a hobby or an activity that you're doing, a lifestyle, any of those kinds of things, you may start to question whether or not it feels right. If it's bringing something positive into your life, if it's filling your cup or you're gaining anything from it. And usually like those, it kind of like I said, like once you start to go into yourself, it catapults you to realize where you are and if you are in alignment or not. And I feel like everyone's starting point is different, or like starting point for like realizing is different. Sometimes it starts with people's shadow work, which is what I was talking about, like kind of looking into yourself. Some people need to really break down their walls, and maybe you are someone who needs to break down your walls. I'm trying not to speak to you as if like this is a general group of people, or as if I'm talking to someone like in third person, because I really am trying to speak to you. So you may feel like you have some things that need to be looked at, that need to be opened up. And that could be hard sometimes. I'm not saying it's not, because shadow work is difficult. Everyone's done it, everyone has to go through it, and if they don't, they will eventually, it's either by choice or by force. Because sometimes patterns will repeat and cycles will repeat until you realize what needs to be shown. And that can be really difficult. It's called work for a reason, like inner work, mental work. Like it's very easy to physically get up and sit down, but it is the mental blocks that get in the way. And I can speak for myself where there have been times where I know what's best for me right now is to probably sit down with myself, with no distractions, but I will mentally block myself and distract myself with my phone and staying in bed or falling asleep, and no one is pinning me down, telling me not to get up. It is myself that's doing that, when it can be so easy to just get up and take a couple steps and to just sit on the floor, no distractions. Like, it is mental work and spiritual work and emotional work 100%, and it takes focus out of you. And that's what can be hard sometimes, like really focusing on what some people don't even know what they need to be focusing on. And that in itself is hard, because how are you supposed to focus on something if you don't know what it is? So you really just have to find what works for you, and whatever pops up, you're just supposed to take it with a grain of salt and just let your thoughts flow and see what comes up. Some people have to start there. Other people, they may know what's going on, and they have to let go of what just doesn't feel right, what's not aligned with them, what isn't serving them. And that is hard too, because that is a whole shedding of who you were before and what you're trying to become. Transformation can be so uncomfortable, and it can be confusing and frustrating and so many other things. In the last, when I originally recorded this, for some reason I brought up heartbreak and I also brought up shame. So I'm going to try to bring that up again. Sometimes during these periods, we hear that healing isn't linear, and you have to maybe break through the wall multiple times. this wall that's keeping you from living how you want, whatever this wall is for you. And that can be frustrating, and it can be emotional, because it's like, why am I just dealt with this, why am I dealing with it again? And sometimes it just takes multiple tries. It doesn't, especially when something is deep rooted, or when something really hurt you deeply, you can't just kind of like pop a band-aid on it if it cut deep. You have to let it heal, and that takes time. So it may take a couple tries, and I know how frustrating that is. And there have been times where I have been hurt, and like I've been heartbroken, and it was so, I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt wrong for constantly having to heal myself again, and constantly maybe going like 10 steps forward and then 5 steps back, or 1 step forward and 10 steps back. Like, it is such a process, and I used to get annoyed at myself because I would want to write about it, and I'd be writing about the same thing, or I'd be going over the same thing in my head, and it's like, why am I doing this to myself? But if you need to write it 10 times in a week, write it 10 times in a week, so you're putting the energy out somewhere. I found that when I think about it multiple times in my head, that's when I really need to find some sort of outlet to place it somewhere, to put it out and place it down. And I wanted to mention, and I mention heartbreak because that is the most recent situation that I've been in, where I have had to apply these things. And I just want to say that that I feel like there's always there's some sort of like shame, and like heartbreak is some sort of taboo because it's generalized, and we don't really talk about the depths of it, because when we're going through it, it it really fucking hurts. But once it passes, it's like we try not to think about it that much, and maybe the hurt has been diminished slightly, so it doesn't hurt as much and it doesn't seem like such a big deal. But at some point, if you've been heartbroken, recently, if you're going through it, or even if it has passed, at some point it really did hurt us. And I feel like there's this taboo of talking about heartbreak and not addressing how deep the hurt can be, because we do this thing where it's like, oh, like, they're just a boy, they're just a girl, they're just a person. There are 8 billion people in the world who can treat me better, who are probably better for me, and I will find them. And we just kind of dismiss it. But it's valid to feel some sort of way because your heart hurts and because your heart aches. Like, it is valid for you to feel how you feel and to constantly heal yourself. If it doesn't happen in one day. And I'm just here to tell you that your feelings are valid. How you handle the situation is valid. And as long as you are trying to put one foot in front of the other, that's all it takes. Just baby steps, and you'll eventually get there, I promise. And then the next thing I remember addressing is, I was talking about how some people, when it comes with like, it was under the topic of alignment, and some people know what they want to do and some people don't. Like, when you feel like you need to let go of what doesn't serve you, it can be kind of scary because you feel like you need to stray from a certain direction. And especially if you don't know where you're going, you feel this this pull out of what you're currently doing into something else, but you have no idea what that is. And that, like, it's a complete mystery, and you just kind of have to take it day by day and see where you go. And while you're doing that, you try to put yourself in places that you think fit right and explore different skills or hobbies or jobs and all these different things. And I feel like there's just this shame of not knowing where you're going and exploring so many different things. And I just want to speak on it because I myself like have felt that shame of putting myself in so many different things and then but not fully committing to it because it just doesn't feel right and I just didn't really want to do it. And I am here to tell you, like, it is okay to explore a handful of different things. Sometimes you want to explore one hobby or one skill and you don't completely go through with it, but you kind of pick up on something or learn something from it and then you apply it to something else. And it's just it is okay. Like, listen, guys, I am reassuring to myself, so don't be surprised if I'm going to be reassuring to you. So go run 5 miles and take a pottery class, or learn how to shoot a film, or learn how to code and be a vet assistant and interior designer or construction worker, like, or write a book and make music. Do whatever you feel called to do at the moment. And if it's meant for you, it will stick. And if it feels good doing it, that's what you're meant to do. Whether you just do it for fun or you do it to turn it into something. Just explore. I promise, like, it is completely okay. That is what life is about, like, exploring and learning about yourself, learning what you're good at. And as someone who wasn't like I wasn't in hobbies when I was younger. Like, I wasn't really put into anything. So I wasn't sure about what I was good at. So figuring it out in my adulthood is my only option. And even with people who do know what they're good at and who learned the hobbies and like skills that they learned when they were younger, maybe like it just didn't stick. Maybe you grew out of something that you used to do when you were little, or maybe you need to rediscover that. But the thing is, it's just whether or not you did it when you were little, you still have to put yourself into different things and learn again in your adulthood. Like, you still got to do it. So don't make yourself feel bad about it, and don't let anyone else make you feel bad about it. Either stand your ground or don't say anything. And just know inside that you know where you're going. Trust. Oh my god, guys, trust. As I say that, like, trust is literally the main goal. Whether you believe in an outer, like, source, or a higher source, I mean, or not, either trust in what you believe in or trust in yourself, and that is the most important thing. Because when you have this unconditional trust, you're trusting that you'll get to where you're meant to be. You're trusting in yourself that you'll listen to your inner guidance and that you're exactly where you need to be at the moment, and you're learning exactly what you need to. You're trusting in yourself. You're trusting that what is meant for you will find you and that what you want will never miss you. And you just want to trust so hard that it gives you the confidence, that it just makes you confident in knowing that you'll fall into who you want to become, and that the life you want to live is where you'll end up at, and the people you want to surround yourself by, that they'll come into your life. Like, trust is the main foundation, is part of that foundation that you want in your belief system and in your subconscious and in that inner knowing. Like, whether you trust in a higher power, a higher energy, a higher source, whatever it may be, or just yourself, or both, that will guide you in the right direction every time. And that's it, guys. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Thank you so much for listening. I really enjoyed talking to you, And I hope that you enjoyed listening, whether this was something you needed to hear to like validate how you feel or to spark some sort of inspiration or a journey or anything of the sort, or if you just wanted to listen for your own comfort, like that is what I'm here for. I can't tell you how to live your life, but I can give you the elements that I live with to help you get to where you want to be, or to give you some comfort, or to ease your mind, or whatever it may be. And if I did that at all today, while you were listening, whenever you're listening, then immense gratitude. I am so grateful that I was able to do that. And I hope you come back and listen again, show some love, give some love, and yeah, I'll catch y'all next time.